So if we want to write one line of code for about four times or 5 times, we can write this like this way. We can copy this line of code and then paste it for 5 times or 6 times according to our needs. But this is kind of tedious process. Just think about that. If we want to print out a line of code for about 100 times or 1,000 times, it will be very difficult for us to do it, and the code will look like shit. We don't want to see our code as like shit. So for this, we can do similar task for some instance, like for 5 times or 6 times or maybe 1,000 times. We can use the loop, and if we write our code using the loop, then our code will looks very clean and it will be easy to read. So here I have print out hello world for 4 times. So now if I want to print out hello world using the loop, so at first the things will comes into my mind is that I need to use some condition, and according to that condition the statement will be executed. So now if I write the code, so here I need to pass some condition, and here I have write true, and inside that block, inside that while loops block, I need to write some statement. And here, as we are decided to print out hello world for 4 times, so we will print out hello world here. And now here it is actually saying that while the condition is true, it will execute the line of code which is inside that block. So now if I run the code, I'm having hello world for infinite amount of time. These things is actually goes on and on. There is no stoppage. So if my RAM storage gets full, then it will give us an error. It will exit the code. So we don't want to wait for this long. So we will kill this terminal. And now here if I give some condition which actually goes for some instances, and then according to that condition, if the condition gets false, then it will come out of this loop and it will finish the code. So here now if I print initialize I as 1, and inside that loop if I write some condition like I less than or equals to 4, and here now if I increment the value of I, so if we take a closer look at this code, here it is actually happening is I has been initialized outside this while loop, I equals to 1, and inside that while loop we have written a condition which is I less than or equals to 4, and inside that loop we are incrementing the value of I after we print out hello world. So here it is actually happening is that at first it will see that I is equals to 1, and inside that while loop first bracket condition block I less than or equals to 4, so the condition is true, and so inside that while loops block the statement will be executed. So here we are giving print line hello world is a system.out print line hello world, so it will print out the hello world, and then it will increment the value of I. So then it will go to the line number 4 and it will check the condition inside that while loop which is I less than or equals to 4, and here I has been incremented. So here I is equals to 2, so 2 is less than 4, so it will again goes inside that block and it will print out hello world, and this list will goes on and on until I becomes 5, because when I becomes 5 the condition will become false, and it will goes out of this loop. So now if I run the code, it will print out hello world for 4 times. So if I concatenate I with hello world, it will become very easy to understand. So now if I run the code, so we are having hello world 1, and 1 is actually coming from the variable I, and it goes for 4 times, and when I become 5, it just came out of this loop, and then it just finishes this code. Suppose we are given some task where we need to print out one hello world along with guys for 3 times. So if I write the code, we will write this code like this way: equals to 3, the condition j equals to 3. So we are here we are initializing another variable, which is j, as 1. Inside that inner loop we are writing some statement, which is guys, and to understand it easily, we are concatenating j value as well with guys, and I'm incrementing the value of j here. So now if I run the code, so for one hello world we are having guys for 3 times, and here it is actually happening is, at first it goes into the parent while loop, and then it will goes into the inner while loop, and it prints out guys for 3 times, and then j becomes 4, and the condition inside that loop, inside that while loop, become false, and because of that it will comes out of this inner while loop, and then it will increment the value of I, and then the code will goes up, and the same thing happens again, and this will continues until every condition becomes false. So there is another loop which is called do while loop. Do while loop actually works almost the same as while loop, but there is a little difference between while loop and do while loop, which is that do while loop actually runs the code first, then it will check the condition. So if I write the code using the do while loop, it will look like this. So here I need to write do, and this condition will go, and here I will use just one while loop. We will not use any inner loop. So here the condition will go here, and we also need to write while, and we need to add semicolon here, which is actually indicating that this loop actually ends here. So here it is actually happening is, at first it will goes inside that block of code, and then it will execute these statements, and then it will check for the conditions. So now if I run the code, I'm having hello world for 4 times. So here now if I initialize I as 5, which is actually giving us the false condition, as I equals to 5, so 5 is not less than or equals to 4. So normally it will not execute the statement inside this block of code. But here, as we are using do while loop is actually doing things like in a different way. Like it will execute the statement at first, then it will check for the condition. So if I run the code, I'm having hello world for 1 instance. So we are using while loop, and while loop is actually is not a cleaner way to write code if you want to write a loop using for loop. And for loop is actually giving us some facilities, like we can write our code in fewer lines and it will look good too. So if I write the code using the for loop. So here inside that for loop I will initialize I, and then I will write the condition which here I less than or equals to 4. Inside that first bracket we also increment the value of I. So inside that curly braces now we will write the statement. So here we want to print out hello world. So now if I run the code, I'm having hello world for 4 times. So for loop is actually giving us that facilities that we can write our code in fewer lines, and this things actually looks good. And this for loop we will use very frequently just because of this. And for loop we can also write the inner loop which is actually called nested for loop. Here we want to print out hello world along with guys for 3 times. So now if I run the code, I'm having hello world along with guys for 3 instances, and this list goes on and on until the parent for loop becomes false. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you really like this video, then press the like button, and if you don't like this video, then you can dislike this video, and I would request you to give a comment why you dislike this video so that it will help me to improve my video.